So it's so nice to see so many of you in person. My name is Scotty Finnegan, and I have the great pleasure of being the president of the board of directors of the Cape Cod Children's Place. A very easy job. Well, it actually is, because when you are the president of a board of a nonprofit that is as extraordinary as the Children's Place, the only mistake you can make is to screw it up. So I'm working really hard not to do that. So this evening is our annual meeting, and it's really important that you take a look at the annual report, because it really drives home that this isn't just an amazing early learning center, but the footprint that the Cape Cod Children's Place has on Cape Cod is extraordinary. Just looking at the numbers and of the distribution of food and diapers and books and games, let alone all the programs that they run. That I had the great pleasure of being able to sit in on one of Cindy's parenting groups, and the whole time I wanted to call my kids who range in age from 50 to 35 and say, all right, I'm really sorry. If you move back home, I'm going to fix this. So it's my great pleasure to introduce that extraordinary woman. That someone reminded me recently that the really important job of the president of the board and of the board members is to be partners with the executive director. And it is such a great pleasure to be partners with Cindy Horgan. Cindy?
Hi, everybody. This is always just an amazing night for me, and I want to begin with gratitude, and that's my favorite part, for Snow Library for welcoming us in, to Tim Coonahan and Dawn, who are making us look smart and putting us on so that people that aren't able to be here are able to be part of this meeting. Thank you very much for that. And for our slideshow that we'll see tonight, a special shout out to Allie Burns, who put this together for us too. Once again, I'm really fortunate to have lots of people in my life that help me to look smart. And so those are some of those people that I've just mentioned. I can tell you this, that many years ago, this annual meeting consisted of about 5 people, and we were sitting in little chairs that were designed for 3-year-olds. So we have graduated to the big people chairs, and what an amazing day that is, huh? And we would also spend time really in a very small way. And this organization has grown tremendously, and it is through the extraordinary leadership of a board of directors that has continued to believe in what we do and in our mission. And more importantly, it is really the results of a community that has never stopped giving to us so that we can give back and grow this community. So reflecting on this past year for all of us, I know that when we came together last year, we felt pretty confident that COVID would be in our rearview mirror. Not so much. And so we have continued to navigate the world of COVID and be able to take risks and go out there and still be safe as we did that and navigate this landscape. It's really important that I give a shout out to my deputy director, my assistant director, Liz Stapleton, who has continued to be our guide through the COVID world and helped us to really make sure that not only were we safe, the children we had in our care were safe, but all the families we engaged with were safe. So Liz, I'll forever be grateful. We postponed many things when COVID was happening, and we started to come back to life. We finally built a playground that had been in the queue for some time. Lee Adams, I thank you always for leading that capital campaign. And so we have a beautiful facility that Lee was an instrument of, as well as Playground Joe, who's not with us tonight, but it is a beautiful place to be. We began to bring back our community partners, and that was very exciting to me. As you may remember, those of you that have been on the journey with us, when we started to build our family support wing named after Kate McCauley and Elizabeth Aldred, we intended to bring our community partners in, and they have come back. So WIC has become a regular part of us, as well as early intervention to meet families and take away barriers. And the dental clinic has come back, and we continue to invite our partners back in. We started to do some real intensive work in our field of early education. And again, I speak to Liz Stapleton, who has not only supported her early educators, but really supported their growth as professionals. And we have continued to nurture children to come to their full potential. That was not easy through COVID times, and it required a time when we have had to stand up and advocate for the world of early education. And we've had to stand and say, pay attention, because it is critical to the fiber of Cape Cod. So we've spent a lot of days on the Common Start legislation and advocacy, that we make it affordable for every family, that we pay a living wage to these professionals, and we make sure that every program that a child engages in is of the highest quality, so that we prepare children for life in these most critical first 5 years of their life. We then began to go back in person to some of our parent and child groups, and it was exciting, and it is exciting, and we continue to sometimes have to take a pause, because we follow the data and we follow the science, and sometimes it tells us you need to be careful. So sometimes we have to take a pause. So we've learned about the flexibility of the human condition. There were some of us that really weren't flexible at all, and we helped them become more like Gumby, because we didn't have any choice but to become flexible. We outgrew our space in West Yarmouth on Route 28, where our First Steps team and our PC Plus team housed themselves. So we moved in to a new space on White's Path in South Yarmouth. We have suites now. Suites, it's lovely. And there we have the ability to bring our families that are on the journey of recovery from substance use disorder, are able to drop in and receive clothing and diapers and food and the basics that they need in order to sustain themselves. And we are able to navigate our PC Plus world with the guidance of Marley Parita and all of the wonderful families that she engages us with. And so we're able to do that from this new space. We couldn't do that easily, because when I looked at all of the stuff that we had acquired in the basement of our West Yarmouth site, I was seeing if Cumberland Farms would take me, because I did not know how we were going to move that to there. And I called a friend who's a great man of Eldridge and Bourne Moving Company, and he showed up with his team and laughed the whole time. He just thought it was funny every time I said, in those boxes, it was like when they do that, and that junk, and that junk, and that junk, and they kept moving and moving, and we made our home back over in South Yarmouth. We then started to really do a lot more in our world around substance use disorder. Our Director of Grants and Development, Patty Watson, helped us secure a grant that allows us to start talking about prevention. And we've started strategic planning to identify and address in the earliest years of children's lives. If we build protective factors, we may actually be able to stop the cycle of addiction. So we have continued to grow the way that we do our work and the way that we impact it. We started to really pay attention. And what I know is I can go on and on for a lifetime talking about Cape Cod Children's Place and all that we are and all that we do. And there's not enough time here to do that. What I want to start in this one moment right now is I would like each of the members of the staff of Cape Cod Children's Place to stand up that are present here, so that I may introduce you to everyone. So I need everybody to stand up, please. So I'm going to start so I don't forget anybody, and I want you to raise your hand as I do this. Karen Burns, she has many titles, but one is my incredible support system and lifeline to how Cape Cod Children's Place runs. She is the place I call when I am desperate. She is the place that always answers the phone. Karen has been there for a long time, and her impact is made a lot of imprints on lots of hearts. Marley Parita, who brought to us a whole new way of looking at life and has helped us so much to grow in supporting our communities of Spanish-speaking communities and our Portuguese communities, and it has made a huge difference of how we do our work. And so Marley's role, her title is the Community Groups Coordinator of our Safe Child Grant. Liz Stapleton, I'm sorry, I was just being professional. Our Deputy Director, my right hand, and sometimes my left hand as well, and the head of our Early Learning Center, and a guide and a teacher to many. Patty Watson, our Director of Grants and Development, and Patty's done an amazing job of continuing to find the money to support the work that we do so that what we do is always free to the people in our community, aside from our early learning environment. Elizabeth Aldred, I don't know if I have enough words right now, but Elizabeth is the founder of Cape Cod Children's Place, and she continues to bring her love, her passion, her compassion to the work that we do, and it's just so wonderful to know that she's always there. Shafi Narli, who is our finance assistant, but Shafi is much more than that. She is our data lady. Whenever we need data, and we have to do that a lot, Shafi is the person we go to. But I would say more than anything, Shafi is our calm in the storm. It does not matter. And Shafi's like, okay, and that happens. So thank you. Carol Bionde, who is our grants, our community group safe coordinator. Carol has joined right at the start of COVID, thought she was going to have this easy job, thought she knew what she was going to do, and then all of a sudden she became an IT expert. She became an incredible, talented person in so many ways, and Carol has done a beautiful job of connecting all the children and families and supporting the community work that we do out there of engaging our community with our parent-child groups. And then over here is our Director of Finance. That would be Kathy Fee. And Kathy Fee is the person that keeps me grounded, that says, yes, we can do this, and no, we can't, and that's okay, Cindy. But Kathy is the person that works the magic of really making sure that all of our funds do what they're supposed to do. And along with Shafi as her right hand for that. And then Mary Wilson here, we look at here, Mary has filled 2 roles for Cape Cod Children's, actually 3 roles for Cape Cod Children's Place. She's the Barnstable Coordinated Family Community Engagement Coordinator, the Dennis Yarmouth Coordinated Family Community Engagement Coordinator, and the Maternal Depression Task Force Coordinator. So Mary has been a big part of making sure that all of these programs are embedded in making the impact on families that we need them to be. So thank you, everybody, for standing up. You did really well. Wait a minute, who else? Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Lucy, we cannot see Lucy's face, but we can see Lucy's name. Lucy Gilmore has also worked has been such a big part of us, and she is the Monomoy family support person, and she also is the Lower Cape CFCE coordinator. And Lucy, if any of you have ever had the privilege of being in a group with Lucy, it's called Magic. And so, Lucy, thank you for being there on that screen. I feel like I'm in Stop and Shop, and you're going to come and beep, beep, beep right near me there. So I appreciate that. Thank you. So what I can tell you is that over the past year, we have made a difference. The word that kept coming to me as I was preparing for tonight is the word impact. And I thought the best way for us to start to talk about impact is to go and really look at some of the slides up here that we have and to understand visually what we've been doing and what we have as far as the numbers that Scotty referenced in the book. So we begin, wait a minute, I think I have to. Maybe not. I'm doing the side. I can do this. So please let me start by really truly, and I would like our board members that are present to stand up, that Scotty Finnegan, who you met, is the president of our board of directors. Chris Apgar, who is our vice president of our board of directors. Nancy Crowley is our treasurer, and Carol Cunahan, who serves as our secretary. The additional board members are Sally Diggs, who's not with us tonight, traveling, Kim Conkra, Matt Bober, Stephanie Jepson, and Brett Tolley. As we look here tonight, we have an opportunity of gratitude because change is inevitable. And part of my change tonight is saying thank you to Chris Apgar, Kim Conkra, and Sally Diggs. When you put together a board, there's a lot of unknown entities that come from that, and sometimes you get a referral from somebody else or somebody shows an interest in wanting to be a part of it. And these three individuals joined our board during a real critical time that we needed to have strength, that we needed to have people that believed in the mission, and we needed more than anything that they were willing to stand up and show up. And I'd like to say just a little bit about each of these individuals. Chris Apgar actually found us because I think there was a snafu in the mail. And we had sent out a letter, and Chris had received it, and she was just a new resident of the town of Orleans. And after she read our appeal letter, she said, I think I want to learn about this organization. So she came in and sat down and met with me, and we talked. And as it turned out, Chris really had already a great deal of background about the kind of work that we did, because she had spent a lifetime doing that in Boston at a much bigger level. So Chris came with her husband, Bill, and they came and showed up. Not only did they bring their experience from Boston, but they brought their relationships. They brought their willingness to volunteer. I can remember the day of the Swim for Life, and everybody's lining up, and it is not a pleasant place to be in your bathing suit standing with several hundred people. And there were Chris and Bill handing out the wetsuits so I could cover this up. And when I needed to speak in Marston's Mills on Lake Wequaquet, they showed up, and it turned out that they knew most of the people there, and they shared their relationships with us as that went on. So Chris, I am forever grateful, and as we grew and added our positions, Chris was part of our hiring team, and her presence just comforted me and really calmed me when we were really looking for the right people to be a part of Cape Cod Children's Place. So I thank you. Kim Conkra. I realized that I am part of Cape Cod Children's Place because of Kim Conkra. I was kind of doing all this kind of rodeo work, I guess I call it, and out in the community, and Kim found me, and she said, I'd like to get you to think about Cape Cod Children's Place, and she handed me some information, and I said, oh, thank you, and then I ended up applying for this job, and then I found out my colleague and my coworker and my partner was going to be Kim Conkra. So she was the person that I built my foundation with. And then I realized, and I don't know if this is as shocking to you, but Kim made a decision, and she was going to grow in her career, and she was going to leave me. And I realized no one had ever broken up with me before. I had always been the broker-upper. And so it was an emotional moment for me to say goodbye to Kim Conkra. But what the gift was is when I needed someone with understanding of the organization that had deep commitment to the mission of the organization, and I turned to Kim to come back and to be part of it and guide it through the board, she said yes, and I am forever grateful for your presence in my life. Thank you. Sally Diggs, cocktail parties, and I don't even drink. So I attended a cocktail party, and a dear friend, Ann Sigsby, introduced me to this wonderful woman, Sally Diggs. And Sally came to us from Maryland, where she too had great experience on building community in places like Cape Cod Children's Place. She came with an incredible amount of knowledge and experience, and yet didn't come in and say, this is how you do it. Came in and said, how can I be of help? Sally has been the originator and the designer of many of our initiatives. We have a very active resource and development committee because of Sally and Lee Adams. We have a group that shows up on the second Wednesday of every month through her coordination to help with food distribution that Karen originates with the Family Pantry of Howard. Sally continues to show up when we least expected, whether she's bringing cookies that they don't want to eat or at their house, or to invite us over to sit on her deck to meet and to be able to grow and think about how this organization will grow. So we are forever grateful for all three of you, and I have a gift here. When I started to think about how do we say thank you and how do we express it, this year we've been doing a lot of work around the word resiliency, and we know that resiliency requires that we have our pitcher has to be full. We can't build resiliency in children and in others if we're not full, if we're empty. And so, as we came together this year, I realized, thinking of these three individuals, that they have done quite a job of filling us from their pitchers. And so, I should have probably done the bubble wrap beforehand, huh? Sorry about that. And I think Kathy Freed told me I should have done that too. Sorry, Kathy. But these are beautiful. Can you hear me? From the Left Bank Gallery, and I hope that it sits in a place, and I hope that when you look at it, you remember that you have filled many lives, and how grateful I am because of that. So I'm going to put this back over there, but so Kim and Chris, thank you. Whew. So, as we say goodbye, we welcome our newest board members that we're really excited that they have joined us and are willing to join us and be on this train with us. So Liz Robideau, I thank you for being a part of this, and I've known you for many years, and this is exciting, isn't it? Thank you. Dr. Kim Meads-Walters, we have shared for so long, shared thinking in the way that we do work, and so together we will do great things, and I'm very excited about that. And for Pat Armstrong, we're bringing Yarmouth down to Eastham, and so Pat is the retired recreation director for the town of Yarmouth, and she has made the offer to join us, and so I'm excited about the year to come and the beginnings of new things for us all. So thank you, everybody. So these are just sort of a glimpse at what happens at Cape Cod Children's Place. And when I say Cape Cod Children's Place, I mean Cape Cod. These are some of the parent-child groups that have taken place over the year, where we enrich little minds, we create parent connection, we help parents to gain strength in the rhythm of their families. We learned how to Zoom, and we Zoom a lot. And I always thought the word hybrid was all about cars, but now we're actually hybrid, because that's exactly what we're doing here tonight. We are hybriding. And what I can tell you is these two programs that you see up here are with the leadership of Molly Parita, and it's just a small glance at what we have done throughout the year of offering parent education and all kinds of support groups for families, and not only in English, but we were able to do, and I was so proud to be a part of this, we were able to offer 2 Spanish positive discipline classes, which really, it's just like my dream come true, and I'm even more excited to tell you that in the fall, we'll be doing it in Portuguese, which is even more exciting. And so we are moving forward. The next part here is the numbers. And I know that you have them in the book, but I just think that they are pretty remarkable of the impact that we make because of each of us here. That 1,178 unique families were served throughout Cape and the islands this year. An estimated 2,356 children were served in the community, 143 free specialized informed programs for parent education. 147 unique families received home visits across all programs. 16 families were involved from PC Plus, and 70 families were involved from our First Steps Together. 61 families alone from our Maternal Depression Task Force. 4,394 total home visits happened both virtually and in person. 2,073 early learning at home family activity kits were distributed. 13 scholarships and subsidies were given to families enrolled just at the Cape Cod Children's Place, totaling $29,005, 87 scholarships throughout the Cape and the islands towards other providers, totaling $16,387. Approximately 500 holiday gifts, coats, toys were distributed, valued at $12,500. 150 packs of diapers, and that is a lot of diapers, were distributed to 300 families. 700 gift cards for Stop and Shop were distributed. 5,300 basic needs supports were provided, valued at $136,842. 3,640 concrete supports were provided by the First Steps team. Together, they valued $18,200. 200 new baby bags were filled with resources for new parents and were provided throughout the Cape, valued at $4,000. These numbers mean a difference. These numbers make a difference. And these numbers are really the results of all of your support and what you do for us. As we look forward here tonight, we have an opportunity. I want to highlight this one person here, Mary Wilson, who I introduced a short time ago. As you can see in that center picture, Mary Wilson is a puppeteer, and even adults get into her puppet world. And Mary has traveled the world as a puppeteer, and she has spent a lifetime making a difference for children and families. So, as I go further to celebrate some of the work that Mary's done, I begin tonight by saying that Mary asked me for coffee, I believe in February, and I knew that wasn't good. And we met and we had coffee, and she said, you know, I've been really nervous about having coffee with you, and I love coffee. And I said, it's okay. And she said, well, I said, it's okay, because I knew that what Mary was going to tell me, that Mary was going to take and start the next chapter of Mary's life. And so the fact that I got to be part of the previous chapters was a pretty remarkable experience for me. And so what I can tell you is, when Mary first came into my life, the whole reason I'm up here tonight is because of Mary Wilson. Because before I even came to the Cape Cod Children's Place, I had this idea that doing parent support and parent education might be a really good thing for Cape Cod. And Mary Wilson heard about me, and she came and she said, show me what you got. And she made me prove what I could do. And I said, okay, and I was very nervous, and I think I wet my pants and all kinds of stuff. And I began what began a over 20-year relationship, and standing up, and Mary would coordinate these groups and write grants. And that's how I started in my work of family support, is because Mary Wilson believed that families needed support, and Mary Wilson took a chance on somebody that really was just trying to build the airplane on the runway. And she helped me grow as a professional, and she guided me through the next part of my journey. Mary and I have intersected our lives in so many ways, and we have made impact. So that was the beginning of my relationship with Mary. Then in 2006, I had been at the Cape Cod Children's Place for 2 years, and a lot of different disciplines came together, and we said, how are we going to make a difference? What do we need to focus on next in Cape Cod, on Cape Cod? And around the table, we all said we need to look at maternal mental health. We need to address what postpartum depression looks like. We need to address what's happening to families. So we launched very quickly. I think within 6 weeks, we put together a conference And we brought people from Chicago and Washington, the experts. And we asked the experts on Cape Cod, the families that had been through this horrific journey, how we could do it differently. And it was the beginning of the Maternal Depression Task Force. And Mary Wilson has led that task force since 2006. She has provided training throughout Cape Cod and the islands for all clinicians that engage with families. She has created a little performance for us, and we have stood before anybody that will listen to us. She has provided training throughout for any clinician or anybody that engages with families. In this past year, with the work of Patty Watson and Mary Wilson, they were able to access a grant through the Cape Cod Healthcare Community Healthcare Initiative, and Mary was able to put together a program where we were able to put doulas in homes with every first-time parent for 1 to 3 visits to support them in this really, really amazing and difficult work. Mary Wilson has been a guide and a model to any of us on the Cape that are doing this work. As Mary begins to write her next chapter, we will never, ever be able to fully say thank you for all that you've done and all the lives that you have impacted. You have made a hot print for many. So tonight, it is my honor. When Elizabeth Aldred told me that she was going to retire, and Kathy Fee and I said, well, not really. We thought of how could we honor someone like Elizabeth, and that was to create the Elizabeth Aldred Advocacy Award. And it is such a privilege each year that I get to honor somebody, and I can think of no finer individual than Mary Wilson for everything that she has done for a lifetime. And I can't wait to read the next chapters of what you do for families. So Mary Wilson, I love you, and I'm so grateful.
Okay, I have the vapors. What a special surprise tonight to hear those words. And you know, some people wait a lifetime and never hear some of the impact that they make. But I know every time I'm with a family that I have that privilege to be walking along their journey, that it's a pretty special thing. This has been a very special opportunity, and Cindy Horgan has given that to me. We share so much in common about the welfare of families and how we feel about our communities needing to be strong. And I have felt privileged and honored this whole entire time to do this work, and I will continue doing this work in some way, shape, or fashion. Right now, my focus is going to be on social and emotional health of families and children. That's where I am going to invest the rest of my working career, and it will take different forms, but I will still walk in these world of early childhood, and I will maintain my relationships that I've built over this time, and I'm so grateful. So thank you all.
She's resigning.
So I got button happy here, forgive me.
Did you see the paintings from John?
So as we, one of the traditional awards that has been given out, am I doing something wrong? Oh, thank you. The traditional awards, there we go, back one. Oh, thank you. This was one of the original awards, and when it came time every year to give this award, I would say, Elizabeth, tell me again what this award means. And she would say, Cindy, in the very beginning days when Cape Cod Children's Place was an idea, was a wish, was a hope for the community of Eastham, Tom Newton was a man that was behind it, that supported it. He was part of the, I believe, a selectman for the town of Eastham, and it was his passion that this should happen. And so we really felt a real need to honor Tom Newton every year about those that have believed in this organization. So as I said goodbye to 3 board members, and I say goodbye to my friend Mary Wilson, this year I had to say another goodbye. And the individual for this had joined us as a volunteer, and she would sit in my office with the computer, and she'd say, you guys need to get an IT person. And she would do all these kinds of things. And she would, she made Cape Cod Children's Place, she made us current. She brought us to the forefront. She made sure that our voice and our name was out there. When she saw something in the news or in the media, she would always stand up and say, Cape Cod Children's Place needs to be here. Her mom, Kate McCauley, was the greatest mentor I've ever had, and she was the executive director. And this is probably one of the classiest families I know, because after Kate left Cape Cod Children's Place, Sarah stayed. And Sarah stayed to make sure that everything that her mom had done and everything that was part of the dream of Cape Cod Children's Place continued to happen. And Sarah came to me this year, as others did. She didn't, she brought me coffee. That was her. And she said, I have an opportunity. And my gift has been to wish her well, because she's so talented. She has such a capacity to make it happen. And Sarah had many roles. Her primary role was our event coordinator, but we automatically thought that meant she was also our social media person and our IT person. And she reminded us often that that wasn't the case. But the remarkable thing about Sarah is, even after she has moved on from Cape Cod Children's Place, she continues to make us a priority. Probably a week doesn't go by that I don't get a text. Cindy, you need to read this. Cindy, you need to be there. Cindy, I made sure that Cape Cod Children's Place is part of this. She continues to be such an amazing human being in the community that talks for every voice, and she talks for the people that don't have voice. Sarah is not only the commissioner of the Women's Flag Football League, which is a pretty amazing skill, but she is the mom of 2 amazing young men, and she is really what gives us life as far as what we look like in this world. Sarah, I can think of no other greater honor to give to you than to tell you that you have filled me with love, and I love you, and the Tom Newton Award is something that you deserve. And I tell you every time I speak to you, I miss you terribly. And so... So, this is our last award here tonight. And I don't even know where to begin with this. A few weeks ago, Marley has the incredible ability to bring me to all these places. Oh, Cindy, you come, you're gonna have fun. And I'm like, all right, I'll be there. And I was on a Zoom meeting with a lot of different people in the community. And there was a woman that spoke, and her name was Marie Younger Blackburn. And it was a black woman from, I think, maybe Marston's Mills, Mashpee. And she had the privilege of being the mother to Chase, a young man with Down syndrome. And she has done a lot of advocacy out in the community. And one of the things that she was doing was having a Zoom call called Conversations Matter. And she starts talking about things. And she's creating a bumper sticker that says #IncludeMe. So we're looking at all differences in human beings, and that we're all together. But she said many things, and one of the things that really stuck with me was she said that she realized when she became Chase's mom that many of the things that she needed in the community to be Chase's mom weren't there. So she had a responsibility to create them herself. So this year, Marley once again has done some really important work, and she has brought me into the fold of the community that I did not know how to access. And over this past year, Molly would say, Cindy, can you come with me here? And can you come with me there? And this past, I believe it was in February, she asked me to meet her on a Friday evening in Hyannis. And she brought me to a building, and I entered this building with her on a late Friday. It was a rainy night. And in the moment I walked in this space, I knew I was welcomed. I didn't speak the language that anybody spoke in this space, but I knew I was welcomed. And what she did is she introduced me into the world of health ministry. And what that was an opportunity that I had been looking for but didn't know how to do it. And she brought me and she introduced me to Michael Macinas and Nina Lima Marcelles. And Michael dreamed of health ministries. He created health ministries, and it became a place where all of our families that feel that they don't have a place have a place. It's a place where there's resources, where there's classes to learn how to speak English, where you can engage your children in wonderful programming. One of my favorite places in there was the bathroom. You say, why? Because he made a welcome space for those that don't have housing to be able to come in and shower and get clean clothing and food. It became everything that we need to be in this world. And when I sat down and met with Michael, I said, I want to be your partner. And he said, prove it. He said, give me your logo so I can put it on our website. And I said, all right. I don't even know how to do that, but I'll do that. And that was the beginning. And what I've learned in this opportunity is that the health ministries is a vehicle that we have the privilege at Cape Cod Children's Place to be a partner to and to join them as they engage in families that often fall through the cracks, that are hidden, that don't get seen, that are invisible in so many ways. And it is an honor that you have allowed us to be your partners. So at Cape Cod Children's Place, where I want you to come, we have this wonderful plaque on our wall, and on it is going to be health ministry right underneath that, thanking you for what you've done in this community and the difference and the impact that you have made. And we are a better place because of you. So it's a full heart thank you.
She's gonna make me cry. Well, this is definitely a dream come true for me, you know. I remember when I first came to this country, not able to speak the language and not knowing the resources around me in order for me to survive. It was very hard. So since I put foot on this island, you know, I said to myself, you know, I'm determined to be a different and make a difference among my community, which is the community that I love. And I'm so honored when Cindy came to visit with Marley and we sat down, we talked, because, you know, she brought me back to 1998 when I first came to this country, and now being the president and executive director of a nonprofit organization who represent the part of the community who has been left out. It is such a blessing and an honor. So I just want to thank you so much and thank my team who actually believed in the vision and the mission that what we are doing. And I do strongly believe that collaboration is the key. Not reinventing the wheel, but actually working together for a better community that we all deserve to be in at. So thank you. Thank you.
So I'm calling you out. Hi, Pat Armstrong in the back there. Thanks for coming.
I apologize for my tardiness.
you're here. That's all that matters. Thank you. So everybody, it is a full heart of gratitude that this room is full of people that have believed in the mission and care about families on Cape Cod. It is with a full heart, again, that I thank my board of directors that I sleep well at night knowing I'm not alone. And I thank you for standing up with me every time we need to stand up. This work is so rewarding, but it does come with lots and lots of sweat and agony sometimes, and wishing and standing on our soapboxes and saying we are here. I'm looking through this room and I'm so grateful to so many of the people that have been donors to this organization in their generosity, and every dime makes an impact. So what I want to say tonight is I hope that each of you leaves here knowing that you make a difference and that we show up because of you, and how blessed we are at Cape Cod Children's Place, and what an amazing journey I get to be on, and all the chapters that we get to write together. So thank you, everybody. We have cookies, and we have lemonade, and we have an opportunity to sit and talk. But before we do that, we do have a microphone up here, and if there's anybody that wants to say something or ask a question of me, I would love you to do that. I do want to identify someone else. Deb Martin is our former president of the board, and thank you, Deb, for coming here tonight. But I'd love to share this mic if somebody would like an opportunity to ask questions or say anything, or tell me what you think we should do better. I'm also open to that. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And again, I'm so grateful. And I hope that you stay and mingle and talk with each other and engage. And I can't wait to see you next year and talk about all that we've able to accomplish. Thank you very much.